Deep beneath the streets of Paris and France lies 6 million dead bodies. It's believed that these poor souls have been roaming the ancient catacombs. People believe this is because these souls were disturbed from their resting places. In the 12th century, a serious overcrowding problem occurred with church cemeteries. Back then, offering a burial in their cemeteries was a good way to make an income for the churches. Unfortunately, they couldn't keep up with the demand, and they were taking in more bodies than they really could handle. So large pits were dug for those who could not really afford to have a proper grave to make room for the highly paying customers. Now when these mass graves were actually full, they would then fill them in and then open another. In the late 18th century, this technique of burials began to cause serious health problems. So after a time, when the remains in one mass grave had decomposed, the bodies would be exhumed and relocated, and the new bodies would then be buried in the pit. So because of this huge problem of overcrowding, the bones of the previous occupants were moved to the old underground quarries of the catacombs that were refurbished. These bones then would be stacked neatly in rows where they would remain to this very day. Eventually, mass burial in the city was banned altogether. The amount of space available underground was the perfect solution to ease overcrowding in the cemeteries, but this also came with disadvantages too. You will notice today that there are not many large buildings in Paris. Large foundations cannot be built because the catacombs are directly under the city streets, and in the past a number of streets have actually collapsed as the quarries weaken parts of the city's foundations. In the past, the catacomb tunnels have been visited by French underground soldiers and also German soldiers who set up underground bunkers during the World War II. There are reports of deaths, murders that have taken place deep within the catacombs of Paris. Where the rows and stacks of skulls and bones lie, actual ghost sightings of dark shadow figures have been reportedly seen. Visitors have mentioned feeling so strange that they are certain that something is following them. They cannot see what it is, but they know it is there. In some cases, visitors have reported being physically touched by some unseen force. There are even reports of some people even being admitted to insane asylums after what they've experienced down there. Be very careful if you ever visit the catacomb tunnels, because you can get lost very easily, and if you don't know how to get out, you will die down there. Many have visited in the past alone and even split up in groups, and from doing this, they have never been seen again. In the early 1990s, a man decided to take the risk to explore the catacombs all by himself. All he had with him was his camcorder. He kept walking deeper and deeper into the catacombs and filming each step and turn that he took. As he progresses further, it becomes very clear that he begins to panic. He realises he is now lost in the maze of bones and has no way of escape. As he's running, you could hear his breathing becoming heavier and heavier. His mind was obviously at a point now which was losing touch with reality. He seemed to be believing that something was with him, or he could have possibly been hearing or seeing things in the darkness. He keeps running and the camcorder suddenly drops. This man was never seen again. All that remains is the footage from the camcorder that this man once held. So if you do decide to explore the ancient catacomb tunnels, just make sure you don't become a permanent resident, and never ever go alone. If there is a haunted location you would like us to talk about in a future video, please let us know in the comment section below.